What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tsla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the economic calendar moving forward, talk about other factors out there which you should be watching for as time goes on. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30 in total. Not to mention 8.1% APY on invested cash. The offer ends at the end of March. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening with this market. So, looking at SPY, I am noticing the possibility of a cup and handle like pattern. I'm also noticing that we're trying to push right now during the pre-market, but we do need confirmation to see if this will continue. I just don't want to see us close below 568 or hold below that. If we do have a gap to fill back down to like 565, but as long as we're above 568, we are favoring an attempt to push for 575. So this is kind of similar to what I was predicting in my previous videos. I mentioned to everyone that SPY might see like a retest and a bounce, or even like a bounce that was coming. So far, we had a bullish wedge that was developing. I did say to get ready for a potential breakout. This existed on SPY, Tsla, the QQQ, and many other tickers. And overall, the bulls have a bigger edge. So let's talk about the news real quick. Then I'll break down what's happening with the charts. Just know that today is Monday, March 24th. At 9:45 a.m., we have the S&P Global Composite Manufacturing and Services PMI reports. May cause some volatility, so get ready for that time. But as of right now, despite that, the charts are still trying to push. Now, for earnings, there's not really much coming out for today. We do have a lot of retail like GameStop, Dollar Tree, Chewy, and the list goes on. The fear and greed index is currently at extreme fear, is making up the majority of sentiment. Momentum is at extreme fear. The put to call option ratio is dipping, which is a decent sign. And then the VIX is looking relatively weak here, which is a good sign. Last but not least, when it comes to the news, okay, there's been some interesting numbers coming out. Many people are thinking that there's a possibility that President Trump's tariffs may be more narrow than previously expected. That's part of why the market's in the green. President Trump also mentioned last week that there's going to be flexibility for his plan. So that is what's getting the market a little bit more excited. We did talk about that. However, he did say that there's going to be a lot of tariffs to come on April 2nd. So we'll have to see what the extent of them are by then and what he has in store. So get ready for April 2nd. It's going to be very important for what President Trump wants to do. Besides that, Hyundai is going to be announcing about a $20 billion investment into the U.S. manufacturing on Monday. And I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy, but that's what I'm seeing on the news, at least thus far. Anyways, that's it for this one. So let's now just focus on the charts. That's it for the news. So SPY has this potential cup and handle here. I would like to see us get back, as long as we hold above like 572, as long as we can break this high. I do favor 575. And eventually 580 is going to be our next target above that as we look a bit more bullish. Now, hypothetically, okay, if we lose 568, if that does not hold us, we could return to that 565 target like this and then try to bounce. There's always that slight possibility. So watch and see, can we hold above 568 to remain bullish? If we lose that, we have that gap fill below. If we hold above 568, if we don't end up losing the support, we're looking for an attempt to just push for 575 and eventually even higher than that for a rally like this for the week as we approach President Trump's tariffs. There's a very good chance that this is what's going to happen, but I just need confirmation. I want to see us close above 568. As long as that happens, 575 and then the 580s remain as our targets. The daily, the 4 hours looking quite good. The daily looks bullish on SPY. If you look at this, we're getting more volume. And then this could lead to a potential gamma squeeze because of how many puts there are. So I'm looking for the 572 areas or resistance. If that breaks, we could go even higher for 575. The chart looks more bullish to me. On the QQQ, we have the same kind of like pattern that's been developing. I want to say that it's very, very good that this is actually above 485. But the question is, okay, can we get a close above that? Can we hold above that? That's the main thing you want to be answering today when you guys do your trades. If you do an analysis, you want to see, can we hold these levels? That's the most important thing. So if you guys look at the charts, you'll see that there's a bullish wedge on the QQQ. We were talking about this since yesterday, that we were due for some kind of bounce like move as a result of that. And as you guys could tell, the market's trying to bounce. It's doing a fantastic job so far. And there's a good chance it may continue this as time goes on. So keep that in mind, guys. For the QQQ, if we end up losing 485, we're looking for that gap fill for 480, 481. And then if that fails us, we could be dipping lower. As long as we're above 485, we're favoring 492 as a target because that's where we have this high up here, this resistance. So I think there's a very, very good chance we do try to push all the way up here. So please keep that in mind. There's a very, very good chance of that potentially happening. So from the way I see things, okay, we're trying to make higher lows here, and we have this bullish wedge. We're attempting a breakout. We're trying to break out of this wedge. If we don't hold 485, we could turn back down to fill the gap at 480 and then try to bounce like this. If we do end up holding up, we could be looking for an attempt for 492. If you look at 492 up here, there's a good chance we try to push higher. So I think that we do try to push higher for 492 as time goes on, especially as we form a nice accumulation. And we're favoring the push even higher. So watch your levels just to be safe. As long as you don't lose 485, we're favoring 492, and we're doing a good job on the triple Q. For the Russell 2000, we have an inverse head and shoulders like structure. If we could break 208, we're looking for an attempt for the 210s. If we end up losing 205, we're looking for a dip to fill the gap towards 204, but it looks bullish. Okay, we have a bullish looking setup, looking pretty good, and the 210s could be coming. For ES, we're making higher highs and higher lows. Looks pretty good. However, if we end up losing 57.50, we could turn back down to fill this gap at 57.20. As long as we're above that, we're favoring, I would say, like 5,800 plus. So I think we're doing a good job so far. If we end up losing 57.50 or below, we could be coming down to fill that gap all the way down here. As long as we're above this, we're favoring the 5,800s. So just watch that very closely as we make higher highs and higher lows, especially because we're seeing more buyers stepping in and we're continuing to uptrend. For NQ, we're looking bullish. I just don't want to see us lose 20,000. Actually, not 20,000, 20,100-ish around there. If we lose that, there's a gap to fill below. As long as we hold above this trend line right here, we're looking very bullish, and we're favoring 20,400 as a potential target. We're seeing a lot of buyers stepping in. For Bitcoin, I want to see us hold 87,000. As long as that holds, we're looking for like 90,000. If we lose support at 86,000, we could turn back down to 84,000. But this looks bullish nonetheless. For Nvda, we look bullish. Very, very nice accumulation right here. Nice. It got very, very tight before a bigger move. I would just want to see it hold 120. As long as we hold and close above that, we are favoring 123.5 and 125. If we lose support here at 119, we could turn down to fill the gap at 117, but it's looking bullish. I just want to see 120 hold, and we're looking for that imbalance fill for 123.5, and then the higher levels. As long as Tesla does not lose 255 and then 250, we're looking bullish. If we lose 255, we could fill the gap back down to 250, but then we could bounce off that like this. If we don't end up seeing that dip move, if we don't do that, and we don't end up losing like 258, we're still favoring that we want to go up to 262, then 265 as our targets, and eventually 272 is next. So it depends. Can we hold above where this gap is? As long as we hold 255 or above, we're favoring 262, 265, and then the 270s. Please keep that in mind. For Apple, as long as we're above 220, we're looking for 226 and eventually 230. If we end up losing 260, we could turn back down. We have a nice bullish divergence, double bottom. This is favoring 226. For Coinbase, we're looking pretty good. However, I'm a little concerned about this gap. There's a giant gap below. If we lose 195, I do see us filling the gap back down to 189. As long as we're above 195, though, we're favoring 200 plus back up to 205, then the gap fill to 213. The chart is technically trying to break out. It looks bullish, but we need confirmation first if we could hold 195 or not. On Amazon, it looks bullish, but I need to see us hold 198 to 200. As long as that range holds, we're looking for an attempt for 205. If we end up losing 197, we could be turning back down to fill this gap down here at 196. We look bullish nonetheless as long as we're above 200, so keep that in mind. For Meta, as long as we're above 608, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to about the 620s. If 608 fails, still we could be dipping back down to like 595. The chart's forming an accumulation, looks bullish nonetheless for the 620s, so just keep that in mind. Microsoft has me a little bit in the middle. It depends on can we hold above 395. If not, we do have a gap to fill. If we do hold above that, we're looking for an attempt for 400. Looks bullish to me. Google's also looking a bit more bullish. As long as you don't lose 168, we're favoring a push back up for 172. If 168 fails us, we could fill the gap back down to 166, so just keep that in mind. Also, the VIX is making lower highs here. We're also below our 200 EMA at 19.6. So this is favoring a move down to like 17.8, which is bullish for the market. Nonetheless, the market is bullish. We're looking strong. We're favoring upside. But like I said before, you need confirmation. I just want to see SPY close above at least 568. If we could do that, we're going to continue to remain bullish as we're making higher highs and higher lows. Also, there's a possible cup and handle here, so it looks quite bullish. Anyways, that's it for this one. I thank you all so much for listening. Have a good day. I'll be back in a couple of hours for another update. Have a good one and peace out.